We begin, like now.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Jackie. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to jump on here for this introduction and continuing training in some of the programs that the city has. My name is Jazeel Cortez. I am the Deputy Procurement Officer over Design and Construction in the Department of Procurement Services. In essence, all the infrastructure projects for Department of Water, Department of Transportation, Assets, Information and Services, planning and development projects all come through my section there within DPS. I've been with DPS almost with the city for almost 10 years now, both in the capacity of a deputy procurement officer and also previously with the Department of Transportation as their contract administrator for a few years. So I'm here to talk about some of the programs and basically bid incentives that are built into some of the contracts that we have out for letting and for solicitation. Some of the big programs that we have, especially for construction, is what we would call set-aside programs. And these programs are set up with what we call the SBI and MBI initiatives. SBI standing for Small Business Initiative in Construction, MBI, Mid-sized Business Initiative in Construction, and a couple of the incentives that are within those construction projects or programs are the EEO requirements and the apprentice utilization bid preferences. We could go to the next one, Jackie, if you could, please. Thank you. So quick overview on what the SBI program is. The SBI program is basically a set-aside program. In the city, we have basically two types of contracts that we award. We award whether it's a service, a construction contract, or what we would call professional service, which would be something like engineering, consulting, and it's something of that nature. The city basically puts together a set-aside program that allocates a certain amount of dollars to small businesses. And that's what the Small Business Initiative for Construction is. And the goal is designed to encourage all small businesses to participate in these contracts, and usually under a certain tier dollar value. The SBI program is cut into two different tiers, two different values for contracts that are let. And these contracts are basically have a local requirement, local exclusivity business requirement. So you have to be within the 6-county area. The SBI 1 program is for projects between $2 to $10 million. And SBA 2 is for projects for less than $2 million. And one of the key things here is that these are all built within the municipal code, and these are all based on what we would call the SBA size standards. So the Small Business Administration, the federal regulation for the business size standards, that program is molded after what the feds would consider small businesses within our 6-county area. We could jump to the next one, Jackie, please. The MBI program, mid-sized business program, medium business program, is also set up kind of the same way, except that it only has one tier for project sizes. And it's designed as well to increase small and mid-sized businesses in projects between $10 to $20 million in total cost. It is for small businesses and mid-sized businesses located within the 6-county areas, just like the SBI. And again, these are all based on the Small Business Administration size standards, which are on the SBA.gov website. Those are easily found on there. And like I said before, the projects for these projects, the dollar value has to be within that dollar threshold, so 10 to 20 million. And then again, these are also this initiative is also built into our city municipal code. Next slide, please. Thank you. One of the incentives that is built into the contracts is what we call EEO, Equal Employment Opportunity. The bid incentive basically gives you a incentive on the contract to basically, it adjusts the base bid of your contract for the contract that you're bidding on in order to allow you to get a little bit more competitive on your bid. These incentives are only used for comparison purposes. They're not actually the final determination of your contract value. But the bid incentive is available for contracts that are construction based at 100,000 or more. And that's built based upon the Illinois Procurement Code as well, that requires contracts to be bid at over 100,000 in value. And this contract, this incentive basically requests the utilization of minority and women journey workers, apprentices, and laborers. So you get incentivized for the use of them and the increased hours that they're actually used on the project. Some of the key things for that is that any bidder proposing to utilize the minority or women journey workers, apprentices, and laborers on a contract for construction can apply for this incentive. It's open for anyone. There's no restriction to it. And the bidder will also show commitment to utilize minority and female workers in any of the three categories by completing the canvassing formula in the bid. The document for all of these incentives, all the incentives beyond the equal opportunity and the ones that we're talking about here, there's additional incentives that are built into a lot of our contracting opportunities, some of them being local participation, the use of green vehicles. So those are some other additional ones that are on here beyond these two that we're showcasing here today. And again, this is all built right within our municipal code 292-390. Thank you. And then the apprentice utilization bid incentive is another incentive that incentivizes the bidder on a project for them using apprenticeship programs. And it's designed as an incentive for prime contractors to increase the apprenticeship participation in those construction projects. And what is an apprentice? An apprentice is a person who's sponsored into an apprenticeship training program by a contractor and is authorized by a union to sponsor apprentices, and that they must be enrolled or have been enrolled or graduated from a construction technology training program administered by City Colleges of Chicago, or is a graduate of a Chicago public school. These are, again, allocated for contracts that are over $100,000 in value. It's an incentive for future contracts. So it's an incentive. So if you were to bid on a contract, you received that contract, you included this bid incentive, the incentive you will receive will be for the next future bid that you would be soliciting for. And that incentive would be applied at that time. The incentives max out from 0.5% to 1%, and that's based on how much of the work's performed by an apprentice. 5 to 10 nets you 0.5% bid incentive. 11 to 15 project area subcontractor work results in a 1% bid incentive. And these are tied again to all built within our municipal codes here in the city. I think there's one more, Jackie, right? Oh, no, then that's it. Sorry. And so just kind of as an intro to this, so the Gordian group that's coming in right after me is presenting on what we would call JOC, the Job Order Contracting Program. The JOC program is basically another extension of the contracting programs that we have here in the city to try and put out as many contracts as possible, scalable in size, and manageable. So with that, I will turn it over to the Gordian group, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jazeel, and we'll have the Q&A portion at the end of this session. So we're as Jazeel just said, we're going to move right on with the Gordian group, and the next up is Chris. So Chris, I'm going to hand you the controls, and you can go ahead now and share your screen. You should be good to share your screen.
Okay.
And then at the end, Jazeel and Chris, if you could leave your camera on just so the folks can see you and ask the questions and they know who's answering the questions, if you don't mind. If you can't, I understand. If you can, greatly appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Can everybody see my screen?
Can you put it in the, go
Yep.
down to the bottom right and put in the presentation, and then you can go for it. Yes, we can see the screen. It's just not maximized. We're seeing your slides on the left-hand side too.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go through this.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. Okay, welcome everyone to this webinar. My name is Chris Jobs, and I am the Gordian Account Manager for the City of Chicago JOC program. And I'm speaking on behalf of the City of Chicago. Oh, sorry, I was at Jess's slides. They both have the same first slide, so okay, here we go. So I'm gonna be talking about job order contracting. I'm gonna give an overview of that. Talking about the City of Chicago JOC process, the benefits of JOC, how to bid JOC, how to get involved, the diversity and inclusion portion, and then we'll go to the review of the key points, and at the end we'll do the Q&A. So first I'm going to talk about who is Gordian. So we are the leading provider of facility and construction, data, software, and expertise. Data, that's what we call the construction task catalog. It's CTC has over 275,000 construction tasks with preset prices. And that's what we use for our JOC program. Software, we have a software for the JOC program, and we've been providing this software for a long time now for the JOC program. Expertise, Gordian is the founder and creator of the job order contracting process. And we implemented this JOC program throughout the country. Gordian JOC overview. We have over 305 programs across the country, around 8,715 contracts, active contracts, with about 28 types of contracts and about 1,359 contractors enrolled in the program. So some of the challenges in the construction procurement process are staff limitations, meeting inclusion requirements, cost control and change orders, lack of transparency, time and procurement burden relative to job size and scope. Here I'm showing in this slide the different methods of construction to procure construction. Job order contracting is just another method to procure construction. Job order contracting is basically a 5-step process. The first step is what we call the joint scope meeting, which is a meeting on the site with all the people involved in the project. There will be the contractor, the city representative, the Gordian representative for that project. The second step would be requesting for the proposal, which is built in our software and using the construction task catalog. And the third step would be the development of that proposal, again, using the software and the preset prices in the CTC. Fourth step would be the proposal review to make sure that proposal is audible. And then the fifth step would be issuing the job order. So it's a very simple process that, to procure construction. So what is job order contracting? So it's basically, the contract is a firm fixed price for indefinite quantity delivery method designed to produce a large number of multi-trade repair rehabilitation projects. Our construction task catalog is basically a book with over 370,000 tasks that are prefixed prices, and those tasks are billed for specifically to the client, and it's also built with local prices. The contractors will bid what's called an adjustment factor to multiply by the fixed prices in that construction tax catalog. Once they bid that, they become under contract with the entity, in this case, the City of Chicago. So in the traditional method of construction, what happens is you have one project, you know, there's a preparation of design, there's the development of the scope of work. The second step is the bid for that project. And then the third step would be awarding that project to a contractor. So in this typical process, you have to do that in every single project. So what happens with JOC is that we do all the bidding up front. And once you are awarded that contract, you can then perform several projects under that one contract, which simplifies the process, and it's a much less time consuming than the original process. Types of projects that we can accomplish JOC, it's pretty much everything you can possibly imagine. Straightforward new construction, repairs, renovations, replacing kind, emergency work. It's not really limited, you know, the possibilities are indefinite, really. It is a contract that is performance-based, so the more projects you're gonna get. You know, if the City of Chicago is happy, you're already on the contract. There's no bidding, right? You already did all the bidding up front. Again, performance-based contract, and those performances are measurable, accurate. Is it using the construction task catalog appropriately? Is it an audible proposal? The time of the proposal, are you sending the proposal in a timely manner, you know, meeting the deadlines? Also, your time of the construction. How fast are you mobilized, following the schedule that was presented of construction? It's also measurable, right? And also the achievement of the M and WB goals. That's something the city takes it very, very seriously, and we help them make sure the contractors are meeting or exceeding those goals. And also the self-performance goals. Would like, you know, to measure if you're meeting or exceeding the self-performance goals. So what are the benefits for JOC for the prime contractor? JOC can be really profitable. The profit is really a function of the volume. Like I said before, the better you perform, the more projects he's going to give you. The JOC also provides a steady flow of work because you're already under contract. You don't have to bid it again. You know, if you're performing well, the city's going to want to give you more work. There's no chasing of other projects. The other advantage is the long-term relationship with the city. You develop that relation with the city because you'll be under contract for at least a year. And it's professionally rewarding. You're doing different kinds of projects. And also the input during the scope development. When I said the 5-step process, you know, the first step was to meet on the site, that's when you develop that scope of work. That's when you give your expertise input on that scope of work. The benefits for subcontractors of JOC. So in the beginning, there's no projects identified, right? So the projects will come after you're already under that contract, which means that increased subcontracting opportunities because the prime contractors, they have to utilize the subcontracting community. They're not going to have all the staff in place to prepare for that project. It also simplifies the procurement process for the city and allow them to procure work in a shorter period of time. Also, multiple projects can be done simultaneously around the city. So here's how it works. The prime contractors will be under the umbrella contract. Once they are, the city advertises that program and the contractors bid that, they are awarded, and then they start subcontracting. So the prime contractors are going to be the ones who choose their subcontractors. So here are the part of the documents that include on the RFP or solicitation for the JOC programs. The book 1, there's going to be instructions to bidders and execution documents. In the book 2, the city's general conditions and the JOC special conditions. Book 3 is the construction task catalog, or CTC, what we like to call. The book 4 are the technical specifications. They're tied in to those tasks in the construction task catalog. And the book 5 is the client specifications. Here's an example of a line item in the CTC. So the line items are, like I said, there's lots of line items to cover for the construction, right? So you can build your proposal. So in this example here, you have a cast in place concrete curbs, concrete curb cast in place. The book is organized by CSI master format. Here you have a full description of the line item. There, in this section, there are modifiers for variations of quantity. You know, you can, if you're pouring a lot of concrete, there might be a variation in the quantity for a reduction of the price. If you're pouring a small amount of concrete, there might be a variation for to increase that unit price. The prices include labor, material, and equipment. And like I said before, those prices are researched in your city, and that's how they come up with those prices. Our engineers come up with those prices. There's also a demolition price in the line item. The prices are fixed in the CTC for the duration of the contract. So bidding as a prime contractor, how do you bid for JOC? So those are the steps that you should do to bid for a JOC project. First step is to analyze the CTC and the specifications. Make sure you're clear and understand what is the CTC. What is the CTC price against the direct cost for accomplishing that work? The second step is determine your overhead cost and profit expectations. Your bonding, your insurance, your main overhead of staffing. How much will cost to employ the staff required? Step 3 is what you're going to bid. That adjustment factor that I was talking about, that's going to be multiplied by the fixed price. Usually you have 2 factors. That's what you're bidding. One would be for your normal working hours, which is your business hours, your 9 to 5. And then the other factor would be for other than normal working hours, which would be for after business hours and weekends. So those adjustment factors are going to be applied to all work tasks in the construction task catalog. And that adjustment factor should cover your direct costs, your overhead and profit. Step 4 is the equal employment opportunity commitments and determine the award criteria figure. The bid forms will be shown to the bidders and explain to the bidders how to do the process. So here's how we advise the prime contractors to bid for JOC. So that's the preferred method of doing the bidding. So here's an example. You should select an example of one of your projects on file and see how much you charge for that project. So let's say you chose the project and you got paid $82,000. What you should do is really get the construction task catalog and see what line items you needed to build that project, to build that proposal, and compare your prices. So to calculate that, you see the difference. You know, if you got your proposal built using the CTC, you got only the 75 versus the 82, you would need an adjustment factor of 1.08. So that's your factor that you should multiply by the line items. And you should not stop there, right? You should definitely do that for more than one project and come up with that adjustment factor. So the key things for you to bid a successful JOC contractor is to bid correctly. So you should anticipate what type of work the city expects to complete using JOC. It usually depends on the contract. Definitely attend the pre-bid meeting, and that's where we're gonna show slides detailing the type of work used under the JOC contract. Definitely analyze the prices in the CTC versus your own costs, run the sample projects, and determine the factors required to adjust prices in the CTC to cover your costs. And also staff correctly. You should in the shovel area and other areas you're willing to work. Like I said, all involved in, you should identify those programs and what kind of scope of work relates to your work. And for the prime contractors, you should analyze the prices in the construction task catalog and develop accurate adjustment factors at the time of the bidding. That's very important. So your adjustment factor is accurate to what you need. And for subcontractors, is really establishing that relationship with the prime contractors, because they're the ones who are going to hire the subcontractors. For subcontractors, you should reach out to the primes and get to know them and show your work and your performance, and make sure they understand that you can perform that work. Again, for subcontractors, there's some tips for things to keep in mind when you're talking with a JOC prime. So keep in mind that JOC is the fast procurement process for construction. So keep in mind that that prime is going to expect from you a fast and responsible pricing. Sometimes they request for that price to be, to be given to them in a couple of days. And also understand the scope of work so you can give that accurate price. If you are MWBE certified, please keep up with your certifications. Make sure you have them in hand. And then agreement and understand of the JOC contractor contract terms. Just understanding what JOC is. and what are the terms of that contract. Another thing the subcontractors should keep in mind is payment timelines and capacity. The payments are not made to the job contractor immediately and sometimes can take a little bit of time. So just have to keep that in mind. So you understand that project's not going to be paid right away. There's also a retainage held on a project by project basis. So subcontractors should upkeep a certified payroll. And also they should be prepared to provide waivers accurately and timely. So here are the departments of the City of Chicago that currently have JOC programs. You have 2FM, CDA, DWM, CDOT, and OEMC. Here's a slide with another JOC programs that we have in the area. The city does not advertise those contracts. Each agency will advertise their own contracts. Diversity and inclusion, equity and inclusion. Gordon provides best practice on establishing MWBE contract goals. So we do that by developing and maintaining relationships with affiliated organizations and construction industry partners to provide information meetings on job order contracting and upcoming job opportunities. At Gordian, we have a contractor engagement team that is reaching out to all those local minority contractor associations to make sure we do outreach for all the minority contractors. We also help the entities, the cities and municipalities to track that participation goal that they have in the JOC programs. Here's some other organizations and associations that we partner with. I'm just going to review the key points of JOC. Like I said before, it's a 5-step process. It's another way to procure construction that the city utilizes. JOC has benefits to all parties, the owner, the prime contractor, and the subcontractor. It's a performance-based contract. To find out more information, I would suggest that you sign up with the DPS alerts. I think that was mentioned before too. So here's another, you can go to www.cityofchicago.org/DPS. Here are the contacts. We had Giselle Cortez that presented before me. He's from the Department of Procurement. Here's his information. I'm Chris Jobs with Gordian, and Michael Judge is also on the call. He's with Gordian. Here's his contact information. Open up to questions. Do you want me to stay on this slide?
Yes,
Jackie?
you can stay on that slide. And anyone have a question, feel free to put it in the Q&A panel or the chat panel, and I will be more than willing to ask the question for you. I do want to thank, first of all, Giselle Cortez and Chris Jobs for presenting that information today. And I hope that you all have gotten a better understanding of some of the JOC programs and how it can be applied. I shouldn't say JOC programs. I should say the JOC program and how it can be applied. And I hope that you all have gained some knowledge about that today in this session. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or the Q&A panel, because I see no one has put anything in the chat. So I'm not sure if they're on the web version of that or whatever. I mean, the Q&A panel. I don't know if you're on the web version of that. Sometimes you don't see the Q&A panel. So go ahead and put it in the chat panel and I can ask the question for you. Any additional comments that you would like Chris or Giselle to make at this time? And if I don't see any additional questions, then we'll just go ahead and close out. But go ahead and unmic yourself if you have any additional comments you would like to add.
No, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone that jumped on. I know a lot of folks have a really busy schedule, so just letting people know that there are a lot of opportunities out there. We do have a lot of these workshops, and you want to definitely sign up for DPS alerts to select what type of contracting options or types you'd like to be informed of, so that you get information straight to your email, and just basically check the City of Chicago website weekly for updates. We do have a bid opportunity list that goes out every week, showcasing projects that are currently out in the streets for bidding. But with that, that's really all I wanted to say. Thank you all for jumping on here, and I appreciate the invite, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Giselle. Chris, did you have any further comments you'd like to make, or Michael, both from Gordian? Either one have any comments?
I don't have any other. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I don't really have any other comments. Thank you so much for participating, and reach out if you want to talk to us.
Thank you so much, Chris, as well. Michael, did you want to say anything at all? If not, we'll go ahead and close it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All righty. All right. Well, thank you everyone for jumping on, as Giselle said and Chris said. And we will see you at the next workshop. If you tend to join us, you can find information out at chicago.gov/DPS. There you can click on the icon for the buying plan. You can click on the icon for the DPS alerts. You can sign up for more workshops. You can do all of those great things. So we will see you at the next workshop if you tend to want to participate. If not, feel free to go to youtube.com if you can't join us to see the archive copy. Have a wonderful, great rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Thanks all.
Thank you.